Do I look like a gardener to you? I am a better, I am not a gardener. Hedging is for gardens. How does your garden grow?
With plus money.
With plus money. Hedging is for gardens.
This is Betting Weekly Live. You're with Dan Roebuck and Nigel Seeley, and we have got to get straight to Queen's Club to talk about a bet that's going to be happening very shortly. Nigel, how are you? Explain all.
I'm good. I'm very good. I was at Queen's Club yesterday. I was attacked.
Yeah, you never
by
came to see me. I'm a mile down the road. Thanks.
Really?
Go on.
Yeah, well, no. Well, you knew I was there. I never got the text to say come round. You know, it works two ways, Dan. It doesn't have. It's not all one-way traffic. You have to let open up a little bit of love either side. And I was at yesterday. It was the most hostile atmosphere I've ever been to since the Crown Green Bowls in Birmingham Litchfield Centre. I mean, honestly, it's like an incredible place. Yeah, I'm watching all these people now at this Queen's Club. They've all got their old Panama hats. They're all sitting there. They're all paying the money for the day. They actually, it's an insane price. The British public summer crowd is something that you just want to stick in room 101. You know, you go away to sporting events in America. You go to New York. It's hostile. It's fun. People are drinking beers. You know, I got told off for eating a pack of salt and vinegar crisps yesterday.
It's Barron's Court. It's West London, darling. What's wrong with you?
It's just a joke. Anyway, it's a joke. And you know, they're all out there. They all think, you know, just for that one day they become tennis connoisseurs. They know everything about every player. They know all of it, and it irritates me slightly, you know, the British crowd. Anyway, so we are at Queen's Club and we are watching Elena Rybakina. She's serving for the match. She's deuce at 5-2 in the second set. She's going to knock out Heather Watson, which will be another win for Rybakina. She's the former Wimbledon champion, and she's got a good chance in this tournament. She's first serve as double fault. This might go on a little bit longer. But next up, we have Emma Raducanu against Rebecca Sramkova. Now, Raducanu is she's the darling. She's the pin-up girl of Middle England. You know, you can go to the suburbs across England, Surbiton, Guildford, Bromley, Orpington. There's pictures of Emma Raducanu a lot across all these households' names. They love her. They watch her. For these 2 weeks, Emma Raducanu is like the most famous person in England because there's nothing else going on. Everyone's given up on the English football team after the 3-1 loss against Senegal. Now, Emma Raducanu is the sweetheart of the whole of the nation. When she's up against Rebecca Sramkova, who is a very, very decent player. And I mean a very, very credible player, a very, very decent player. If you look at the head-to-head record between the two, and this match is going to start probably in about, it could be about the next half hour or so. Emma Raducanu is -$4 to win this match. Sramkova is +280. The spread is 4.5, and the total here is 20.5. Well, the head-to-head there's no head-to-head between the two, but the rankings between the two. Raducanu is number 37 in the world rankings. Current world rankings now live. Raducanu is 37. Sramkova is 38 on the current world ranking. So there is absolutely nothing between these two players. Literally nothing. And I would argue that Sramkova is probably a player that is probably on a level, or if not slightly better than Raducanu on grass. I mean, she just beat the Wimbledon champion in round 1. She beat Barbara Krejcikova in round 1. Admittedly, Barbara Krejcikova isn't having a good season. She's been absolutely struggling with injuries, but she did beat the Wimbledon champion. She got beat in the first round of the French Open by Iga Swiatek, and she lost 6-3 in that match. In the second round of the French Open, Emma Raducanu played Iga Swiatek, and she got beat 6-1, 6-2. So she put up a better performance against Iga Swiatek than Raducanu. If you look at their grass court record, 14 wins in the career for Raducanu, 11 losses, which equates to a 56% chance, a 56% win rate. Sramkova is 12 wins, 9 losses, 57% win rate. And yet, Emma Raducanu, because she's playing in England in front of a half-empty, chilly court where the average age is 62, there is people telling people off because they're eating a pack of crisps or eating some
That's
peanuts.
got your goat, hasn't it?
Well,
That's
listen, there's no way. There is no way this Raducanu should be $4. So I think here this is I think it's a crazy price, and the 4.5 handicap. I mean, 4.5 handicap. I mean, Emma Raducanu is renowned for having meltdowns in between matches. Now, people will say to you, oh, it's to do with home advantage. It's to do with home advantage. Well, 2 British players have played early today. Katie Bolter, she got beat. Heather Watson, she's just lost. So this is a 500 event where there's a lot of prize money, a lot of stake. She could quite easily win this match 6-3, 6-3, Emma Raducanu. But honestly, -$4, Emma Raducanu. This is a -180 at best. This is a 1.5 game handicap at best. +4.5 on all the stats, all the data, everything we said. It's an absolute wrong price. Absolute wrong price. Crazy price. You know, Raducanu could win 6-4, 6-4 and you still cash it. 4.5 is a big number on tennis. You know, it is a big number because you get 7-5s in, you know, various stuff like that. But Raducanu is going to come on court next. Head across to the Betways website. 4.5. Sramkova. This is a young girl on the up, and that is just ridiculous to me. Ridiculous price.
So the strategy is what we're doing. We're betting Sramkova plus 280 and splitting our stakes and having a bet on the handicap as well.
Well, my main bet is the handicap. I bet the handicap at 4.5. You know, Raducanu could get through here. You know, she's going to have some support, which does merit something. But the price is wrong. So if the handicap's, if the money line is wrong, the handicap's wrong. I think the better value is the handicap +4.5 at -112. But I wouldn't put anyone off having a little saver at +280. But Raducanu at -$4. Now, this woman has cost me more money than any other sports star in England, by the way. You know, the English cricket team cost me thousands. The English football team has cost me hundreds of thousands. Raducanu is close between the two of them. But everyone's going. I'm watching the court there. Everyone's going. So, you know, they're going for the toilet break. They're going to get their PIMS. It's going to take them 25 minutes to come back into the court. And she could be a breakdown. There is no home advantage here. It's not like Venus Williams or Serena Williams turn up an half rash at the US Open. This is like Middle England, where half of the people wouldn't even know which one Emma Raducanu was. So this is a big price. Big price. Big bet. 4.5. Great angle. Straight in.
And we're underway with that one pretty soon.
Well, 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So get your bets down now. You got your Bet Rivers account open. Get involved. Get on the handicap. Sramkova is the play.
And if you do bet with Bet Rivers on this match as well, you can watch it live stream as well. So it's great.
Brilliant stuff. So that's coming up very shortly indeed. Is there another? Do you want to talk about the other game as well today? Zheng against Kessler. Is there any advice for this?
Yeah, there's a big advice on this one as well. I mean, this is another favourite where.
When is this off? Is this off shortly as well?
This will be on immediately after this one. So hopefully it's off in about 25 minutes for Sramkova can win 6-1, 6-1. Hopefully, but I think that Kessler's a big price here. I mean, these prices are all being priced up on clay court or current form, not looking at the surface, not looking at it's a huge thing to transition from the French Open clay straight into a grass court campaign. And you've got a player here in Zheng who's the Olympic champion. She's a clay court specialist. She got to the quarterfinals of the French Open where she lost to Sabalenka. She played really, really well. She was a good contender. She had a chances to win that match. She's going to be a little bit deflated. She's come straight across now to a new surface. She hasn't played in it. Kessler had a tough match in round one, but got through against Francesca Jones, a very, very good young up-and-coming player from the UK. And she won that, and she won that fairly convincingly. And if you look at the head-to-head record, Zheng is 3-8 in her whole career on grass. She's only won 3 matches out of 11. But she's a number 5 seed in the world, number 5 in the world. She's the top seed here. But that's on world rankings. It's not on what her grass court form is. She's not a grass court player. She's never, ever beaten anyone inside the top 50 on grass. Never. And she's up against an opponent in Kessler, who's a young American who's doing all right, who's got a decent record on grass. Her career is 5 wins, 3 losses, compared to an opponent who's 3 wins, 8 losses. I think we get very, very much attached to the name. We bet the name rather than the conditions and the surface. Kessler's a more accomplished grass court player, and I think she's got an outstanding chance today as well. I think it's a good fade, but my stakes will depend on how Emma Raducanu gets on. But I think here, I mean, this is another dog that I like. And I'm not just saying it because I like the dogs. I mean, I always like betting on on betting weekly game bet match. We do a lot of underdogs, but there is a lot to make about these two players. That Zheng and Raducanu are vulnerable, and if you look at players who've gone deep in the French Open, they very, very rarely in men's and women's do very well the first tournament back onto the grass court. It takes them 2 or 3 weeks to get accustomed to the grass courts heading into Wimbledon. They don't want to peak too early. They come here, they get a little bit sort of practice under their belt. But for a girl at number 42, it's a much more important match for Kessler. And so I think she's got a great chance as well. So I like both dogs today.
In terms of where the money's going, Bet Rivers ahead of those two matches, you won't be too surprised to hear that most of the money has come for Raducanu. Raducanu. I can't get it out of my brain. I told the boys the story.
Raducanu.
I can't get it out of my head. Raducanu. 80% of the money on Raducanu, 79% of the tickets on Sramkova. Most of the money on Ovis there. Let's move away from Raducanu. I keep getting the name wrong. She's not a household name in my household. Zheng Kessler. This is interesting because on the money line, the money has come for Zheng, but on the spread, 59% of the tickets on Kessler. So, people are maybe taking a chance on the handicap with that one. So those are the two games that are going to be sort of back to back. If you want to get involved, now is the time. Hello to Rick. Morning to Villa fan as well. Loving the content. Cheers for the Navarro tip yesterday. Put the winnings on fading Raducanu as per your Twitter post. Ray says good afternoon. Also says Susie is still the queen of Bromley. And Meninda says, was it Holden who told you off, Nigel? He seemed to have some black eyes on the live show yesterday. Did you watch any of the live show, Nigel?
I saw Roy or something, and and he texted me and he said to me he was after a little bit more money. I said, anything you want, you got it, mate. No problem. And he's been crying all afternoon.
Has he really? No. Terrible. We are going to talk tennis. Obviously, those two games starting shortly. We'll be back with Queens in just a sec with Nigel for games tomorrow. And there's also tournaments in Germany as well we're going to cover. I hope RHM is joining us live on the show today because we had about 8 messages in from yesterday. All it said was like, advice, European under-21s, European under-21s, stop ignoring me, European under-21s. We've got a little bit of chat about that coming up. We'll also talk MLS for you as well. And we'll round off with some US Open 3 balls. John, our graphics guy, incidentally. And I said, John, can I mention this? She said, yeah, fine. I don't want to bock it for him. I'm not known as a bock, am I, Nigel? But nope. John has bet JJ Spawn at 125 to be first round leader. He's currently leading. He's a shot clear, is he?
Have you seen the bet that Bet Rivers are taken?
On what?
They've taken $200 bet on Spawn to be the first round leader at 90-1 to win 18,000. That's not from John. That's not from John. That's not from John. That's definitely not from John.
John's a bigger better than I thought that he was. So yeah, that's basically the schedule we've got for you coming up. Just to let you know, I just wanted to talk about big bets. I mean, people bet on everything and anything if they think they've got a line in. But I feel for the money line player on the France volleyball against Argentina in play minus 526, $35,000 down. Loser. Sorry about that. If that's you, I hope you can get it back.
What would you do when you woke up in the morning and your missus says, "How was your day? How was your day this afternoon?" Well, it wasn't too bad. I went to work, done it. Why are you so miserable? Well, there was some women's volleyball on the telly, and I just had a bit of bet on it. Oh yeah, why much? $35,000 on women. I would. Like what on earth can you? What's the most? When have you ever had a bet on a sport and you thought to yourself, I shouldn't be betting this sport. I shouldn't be doing this.
Oh,
Neil Channing has bet on sumo and stuff like that. When is the time you think yourself like, I shouldn't be doing this?
Well, I got. I mean, during COVID, I got into a real rabbit hole of Belarusian football.
Rabbit hole's great. I've been betting on rabbit holes.
It was the only thing that was on, and I subscribed to a website that gave me expected goals on Belarusian top flight football. And I just thought, after a while, what am I doing here? Listen, only bet what you can afford to lose, and I'm sure that better could afford to do that. Look, maybe that's the way he plays.
I had a bet on the women's state of origin rugby league match the other day, and it didn't feel good to hit that button.
Yeah. Did you win?
No.
Cash it. Streams today. La Liga 2 playoff game Miranda's against Racing Santander. Also 6 Serie A matches in Brazil. And we're just going to talk about the World Club Championship right at the end of the show because we've got something special for you tomorrow that Nigel can let you in on if you've not seen it already. And also plenty of tennis. And also the World Cup of Darts is streamed on the Bet Rivers app as well. If England don't win here, Nigel, with the 2 Lukes, they're minus $2. But that's got to be a penalty kick, hasn't it? Humphries and Littler.
I was thinking about, but listen,
Come on. That's your 35k.
A lot of people here might not
streamed on the Bet Rivers app.
But there'd be a lot of people out there who'll be having a lot of money on them at minus $2. But I don't think I would. I don't think I would.
Big price.
I think it's very difficult when you play internationally in any sport because you don't really get the money. The motivation is quite.
It's 85 grand to the winner.
But they're getting it. They don't. It's 40 grand. They get that for an exhibition match.
Yeah, they do.
So it's like betting a tennis player. Obviously, I refer to tennis all the time. Playing in the 250 in a real bad draw and thinking he's going to win it. Where the money ain't there. I would not be betting that. However good it looks, I would not be betting that. However, but I have had a bet tonight. Poland to win 4-0. Someone tipped me up.
The darts on the World Cup of Darts.
To win 4-0. Yeah, 4-1. Poland to win 4-0.
I'm not getting involved in any of that, but I'd back Poland 4-0 to win again.
Yeah, I bet 4-0 Poland.
Matlock says the darts is an outside stadium and it's gonna be very windy. Yeah, it's in Germany, isn't it? Yeah, that's that.
Where is it? Where is it? I went to
Germany.
Can I tell you a story about it? It's funny. I know we're telling stories and stuff rather than bets, but I'll tell you a story. I got a telephone call once from a guy, and he said the World Cup was in South Africa, and it was at the Oaks, the Derby race, the big racing on the Friday. And a guy rang me up and he said, Nigel, are you available next week? He said, I want you to go to the World Cup. And I thought, my God, I've been asked to go to the World Cup. I was like trying to do stuff on sort of these YouTube channels and various different media work. And I went, yeah, I'll go to the World Cup. He said, I'm going to send you the flights and everything. He said, yeah, we need you out there. So I said, yeah, what? He said, no problem. Anyway, he said, you need to get the flight to Hamburg. I went, Hamburg? I thought I've got to go to Johannesburg. He said, no, Hamburg. I want you to go to the World Cup of Darts. I had to go to Hamburg. I was there. Yeah. Not the World Cup in South Africa at the time, but there you go.
If it's outside and it's windy, I mean, maybe you go unders on the 180s, or I don't know. I don't bet the darts, but surely you're looking to go unders, aren't you? When it's windy, Matt, let us know. What do you think? The real Brendan King says it's the return of the GOAT. Thanks for that, morning, Jets. Let's talk tennis again with Nigel. Queens tomorrow. Rattle through what you got for us. These are tomorrow's games, Nigel. Navarro against Anisimova and Shnaider against Keys. Any thoughts on the games tomorrow at Queens?
Well, we were on Navarro to win it on Betting Weekly WTA at 14-1. She was our bet. We were so lucky yesterday. I mean, I gave a lot of messages on it on our Instagram account. I bet her in play, but she was terrible, absolutely terrible. You got to remember, this is a girl whose family are billionaires. They don't need the money, and the motivation for her is questionable. But she did fight back against Haddad Meyer. I'm a little bit worried because her performance yesterday was so bad, so bad. She needs to up that by 200%, really. Anisimova has got a 3-0 head-to-head record against Navarro. And she's won pretty convincingly, like on all kinds of services. But Navarro has got a much better clay court record. Navarro's gone deep at Wimbledon a couple of times as well. So I'm not holding out much hope, but I'm very happy with our 14-1 pick. So I'm not going in again. I wouldn't advise anyone to go in again. If you're on the 14-1 voucher, we've just got to hope that she performs like she did in the second set yesterday rather than the first set, and we've got a chance. So there'd be no angle for me on that one. In the other match, we have, what was the other game again? I've got to
Shnaider against Keys, Shnaider plus 188, Madison Keys minus 250.
Yeah, I mean, I think Madison Keys, if Madison Keys is up for it this week, and fancies it, she'll win the tournament. I think she'll beat Raducanu. I think she's a real big shout for an outsider to win Wimbledon. She's only met Shnaider before once, and it was in Miami, which was very quick. The service in Miami is very quick, was in 2024, which is similar to grass, and she smashed her off the court 6-2, 6-4. I think Keys should win this fairly comfortably, cover the spread very comfortably, and I think Madison Keys right now is the bet for Wimbledon, but Bet Rivers are extremely, extremely short on Madison Keys. They're taking no chances whatsoever. So, no real leans on there, but I do think Madison Keys will beat Shnaider fairly comfortably.
Got some thoughts from Nigel when it comes to action in Stuttgart and also Herzogenbosch. Have I got that right? Close enough?
Yes, you have.
In just a sec. We had a big ask for the Euro under-21s. I don't know how popular this is. I suspect it's not that popular, but people like the soccer. And generally, I mean, I know, Nigel, you generally just turn off for the summer, don't you, unless there's a big summer tournament when it comes to soccer?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a bad season this season in my betting here on the channel, and also myself as well. I've had a bad year, and I take time off. I don't follow other leagues. I don't follow under-21s. This is a World Cup or European Championship. I take time, and I focus more on the tennis. The tennis is the thing that I like to do this time of year. I like to go around. I'm not getting any younger. We're not getting any younger. I don't want to be worrying about under-21 tournaments. There's so many talented people on this channel to be able to give you a breakdown of the under-21. Unfortunately, none of them be able to come on today. So Dan, you're gonna give us the best.
These are the 4 games today. The Ukraine-Denmark game kicks off pretty soon. That one at 1 a.m. Eastern. The rest are evening locally in Slovakia. Yesterday, there were 4 games, 2 winning favourites, 2 under 2.5, 3 under 3.5. Generally, it's been an unders tournament over the last few years. Now, under 3.5 is obviously always going to be short, but 25 out of 31 in 2023 and 25 out of 31 games in 2021. That's the trend. So if you're looking for bet builders, you can almost say, right, I'm going to start with a sort of under 3.5.
Now suddenly my ears are pricked up. I've suddenly got interested in the under 21 championship.
Well, look, it's a little bit unders, but under 3.5. Look, they're all. We've got lines there. There's only one that's under 3.5 there. That's the Germany-Slovenia game.
Where is it being played? I don't even know where it's being played.
It's in Slovakia. I mean, England are the defending champions. England won it 2 years ago, and they're involved again. They play a little bit later on today against the Czech Republic. I mean, I just thought. I mean, I'm a massive trend better, so I will bet this. I will bet trends like for all season, or 6 months of the season, or 3 months, or for a tournament. It's like I love the tournament totals for like things like World Cups, World Club Championships. I mean, I bet under. Season goals in the Premier League at 12. I just love that you look at a trend, you find the trend, and you have to bet it every single game. And sometimes you can go over a cliff and you can absolutely do your orcs. Other times you can just see that profit roll up. If you've bet under 3.5 in the last 2 tournaments, you've made money. Yesterday, 3 out of 4. Today's games are minus 157, minus 305, minus 220, minus 225. They're all short. You need 3 of the 4 to profit if you're just level staking the singles. But there were 6 group match days in 2023 and in 2021. And across those 12 match days, you won money every single day. So it's a trend that has won you money every single day and yesterday. So that's 13 on the spin. Obviously, you hope that the bigger price one will cop, which is the Germany game. But if the other 3 do, then you'll make a money. And then, if it doesn't, you do it to day after and so on and so forth. It's just one of those things. That's what I'll be doing with these games. But for those that like a more regular play, I say regular-ish, I touched on it very briefly yesterday. I think the Dutch have got a really good squad together. They've got a few overage players. I say overage players, they're right on the limit. Ian Marton, who, of course, plays in the Premier League. Kenneth Taylor plays for Ajax. They're both 23. They've got a number of players who have got an awful lot of experience. They take on the Dutch today. They're the shortest price favourites, as you can see, or pretty much minus 335. Germany minus 345 there. So those prices have changed a little bit. And they've got a young striker or left winger that's of a bit of interest. He's a kid called Ruben van Bommel, and you might remember his dad, Nigel, Mark van Bommel, who was a real enforcer. He was a midfield general.
Curly dark hair, didn't he?
Yeah, his son's a left winger, and he didn't play. I think that the market might not have reacted to what he achieved towards the end of the season. He plays for AZ Alkmaar. He wasn't in the team at the start of the season, but he forced his way into the team, and his numbers have just gone up towards the end of the campaign. So if you look at score or assist markets, shot on target markets, anytime goal scorer, he's plus 245 anytime goal scorer. He's plus 143 to score or assist, and he's minus 129 to have a shot on target. He got 9 goals in all competitions and 25 starts this season for his club side. He's got 4 goals in 12 international games for the 21s. His averages work out for shots on target and shots. But towards the end of the season, all that data started to go up, and I'm not quite sure that the market's caught up. He had a shot on target in each of his last 4 games for his club side, and a goal or an assist in 4 of his last 6. So we're looking at minus 129 for a shot on target, plus 143 to score or assist. They're minus 330 to win the game. You'd like to think they'll have a lot of the ball. Ruben van Bommel, have a look at him in those markets. That would be my best bet in terms of the 21s today. Matt's been back with us. He's talking about the dartsies outside. He says the under 21s will also be outside and will probably vary. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about there, Matt. But even so.
So's the tennis outside.
Tennis is outside as well, yeah.
Great start for me. Raducanu just broke Sramkova in the first game. 1-0. I might need to get a canoe. Get out of here.
If you need to know if you want to know where the money's gone for the under 21s, Ukraine Denmark, that starts in about 35 minutes time. Most of the money on Denmark. The Finland Dutch game, 99% of the money is on the Dutch. Germany Slovenia, again, all the cash has come for Germany. And in that Czech Republic England game, Ethan Van Aeren is going to start. We know what a good player he is at Arsenal. He'd be a pick for anytime goal scorer. 99% of the money.
What about Harvey Elliott? He's a player that I like.
Me and you talked about him right at the start of last season, because we saw him pre-season. We thought he's going to have a really good campaign. Then he got injured. And I bet him on the spreads over 5.5 assists in the Premier League. I did my money on that one. But look, there's some good English players.
He was the person ahead of Curtis Jones, who's in the England squad. Like he was the one I thought that would come through. But what price is he to? Because he weighs in with a few goals.
I think he's a terrific. I don't know what price. I'll have a look.
I'm going to get up now. Can you get up there? Anytime goal scorer, Harvey Elliott.
I mean, he's a player that loves to get forward. He played in a very good
plus 350. That's a big price, isn't it?
Yeah, it's decent. Yeah, I mean, he started the season so well last campaign. I was disappointed that he got injured, but I mean, it didn't really affect Liverpool, did it? That's a little bit of the soccer. I've got a play on MLS for you as well tonight. New York City FC against Atlanta, which we'll talk about in a sec. Let's get back to the tennis though, because we've got 2 other tournaments to take a look at. Stuttgart next for you, Nigel, to give us your thoughts on here. These are games tomorrow. Any value in the 3 matches that we've got up on the screen for you there? Shelton, Lehecka first.
Well, that's going to be a long match. You can see by the odds there, minus 130 for 25.5 games, like ridiculously high number. But in the build-up, the last sort of hour or so, there's been a huge amount of money for Lehecka, like a big move. You know, he was a plus money outsider. That might, when you see a big move like that, I always think that there may be an injury concern. So Lehecka's been heavily bet. Would I bet him at minus 115? No, probably not. The next match there, Fritz against Fucsovics. I mean, Fritz has had a terrible, terrible year, but played really, really well. Turned it on his head last time out against Quinton Hallis, who is a really, really capable grass court player. If he can play like that, then he should get the better of him. But they've only met once before on a grass court, and Fucsovics won it. And it was in this tournament in 2023, 6-4, 7-5. Fucsovics is a player that on his day is capable against anybody. He's won his last 4 matches on the start this year, 4-0 on grass, qualified through the Stuttgart tournament, had some big wins against Hanferman, had a big win against Rinderknecht, good, decent grass court players. And I'm not convinced by Fritz. He's lost 4 of his last 5 games coming into this tournament, a big win against Hallis. But I think Fucsovics could give him a little bit of a test here. So on the money line there at plus 163, plus 2.5 is minus 132. But look at these games. I mean, this is the highest, this is the quickest surface in the whole of the tennis year. Stuttgart is really, really high amount of games. The overs go over consistently. 25.5 is such a big number because effectively you need 3 sets. And if you get straight sets, it's only 7-6, 7-6. So it's such a high number. And when I was betting years ago, these tournaments used to be 23.5, 24.5, and you can get a 7-5, 7-6 and win. Now you need 3 sets or a 7-6, 7-6. So the total games have been adjusted massively. But out of the two of them, I give Fucsovics a little bit of a chance because even though Taylor Fritz played well yesterday against Hallis, I'm not convinced by that. Engel against Felix Auger-Aliassime. Felix Auger-Aliassime come through a match today against Petri Perigard, 2 massive service. He's heavy favourite here. Justin Engel is a very, very talented young player. I think he's only 17 years of age. He's a player with a big, big future. Had 2 big wins against Duckworth and Mickelson. And but I think he might run into his a match here, minus 665. But that match there could be the one, even though it's considered to be the lowest on the total games, that one there when the line comes out, it's not going to be 25.5. He might be 21.5 because he's such a heavy favourite. That could be the one where the total games could be the overs.
So it might be those. So leans in those 3?
I would go for Fucsovics on the money line at plus 163. Yeah. And if Engel or Auger-Aliassime come out on the totals at anything around about 21.5, I would go over 21.5. I may consider 22.5, but 21.5 would be a definite play. The other 2 look about right.
When it comes to that Shelton Lehecka game, most of the money on Shelton, 90% of the money and 88% of the tickets on Shelton, and nearly all the money on overs. So, as you suggested there, no real surprise with that. Fucsovics against Fritz. Fritz has been bet both on the money line and the spread. So if you're looking at where the cash has gone, that's for those 2. Anything else to add in Stuttgart?
The only thing I could add here is Raducanu's got 3 break points to go 3-0 up. She's playing like a sort of a peak Steffi Graf here on grass. I mean, this is the worst read ever. It's really bad when you do these reads and you put them out and you go quite punchy. When you get it wrong, you get it dramatically wrong. And I've always been someone who's going to say how I feel. But 15-40 on Sramkova serve to go 3-0 up. She's absolutely flying at the moment. She's hitting balls. But the good thing about it is that sometimes you might lose the battle, but the war is there to be won. And if she keeps playing like this, people are going to bet her for Wimbledon. She's going to be a heavy price. When we get her beat somewhere along the lines.
Yeah.
But, I keep saying that till she gets to the final. And they'll go, we're going to get her beat here. We're going to get her beat there. But she's incredible. So, but she can't sustain this momentum. And I think people just sometimes might get a little bit carried away. She's playing exceptionally well, but Sramkova will come back in at some stage. Not now. She's 3 down. But anyway.
Bradley says Raducanu playing like a woman possessed, and
she must have seen my tweet. She must have seen my comment.
Pinned it up on the locker room. Aditya Day says Lehecka going to trample Shelton.
Well, there's been a lot of money for him. He's a bit of a nervy player though, Lehecka. He's a player that can lose his concentration, and when the pressure's on him, I wouldn't trust him. But if he can get out in front, he's a great front runner.
Major League Soccer coming your way tonight. It's New York City FC versus Atlanta. 7:30 kickoff for this one. And now here's a question for you, Mr. Seeley.
Oh, please no, not.
There has been. Let's test Mr. Seeley's knowledge of Major League Soccer, shall we?
You might as well just talk to that brick wall behind you. Go on.
There has been 253 matches in MLS so far this season. Obviously, it's the Summer League. What's the most popular score? There's 2 scores. They're the joint most popular score lines. Correct?
Well, it's always a high-scoring league, isn't it? So I would say the most popular score is... I'm going to be shocking you. You wouldn't ask the question if it was like a 1-1 or a 2-1. I'm going to go 3-1 home win.
3-1. What's the other one? There's 2. It's like joint top.
3-1 and 2-1.
2-1 is correct. 26 2-1s in Major League Soccer. Do you know what the other one is?
2-2.
0-0. Where is your detector, Nigel? Where is it?
I trade it in every year for it. It's like an iPhone.
Do you know what I mean?
You get a 0-0 detector version 14. The trouble is I can't be bothered with the uploads. keep you up all night. The upload. They say like
if you bet,
do you press the uploads on your phone or just leave it?
I leave it. Tomorrow. If you bet 0-0 in every single Major League Soccer match this season, you are 63 points in profit. It is
that just shows you that the market, because everyone tells you it's a big high-scoring league, and obviously every league has a trend that goes on, and the lines were probably too big, and sometimes it's good to go opposite. So that doesn't really surprise me because it seems like a league that he goes 3-1 or 0-0. That means like the ones in between the 2 goals or the 1-0s and 1-0s. Probably answer they're either going to go really over or really under.
Yeah, well, 0-0, 63 points profit. Effie says over 3 New York City FC. Effie's a good judge as well, but I'm going to go the other way. I'll tell you why in a second. Harry says 2-2. The real Brendan King says we're talking MLS. Yeah, sometimes this is what we do. Needleman says that Mute tiebreak was a sickener, Nigel. What is he referring to there?
No, because Sean Calvert gave Mute plus 1.5 sets and he got beat 9-7, I think, in a tiebreak. Raducanu love 30 on a serve, by the way, having the old blips, the old crowd, the old middle link. They're waving their Pinot Grigio at her and not very happy at the moment.
I love a Pinot Grigio. This is Major League Soccer tonight. New York City FC against Atlanta here. It's 10th versus 13th in the East. They're both below the playoff line. I commentate on Major League Soccer for 8 years for Sky Sports. Don't doubt my knowledge on this. I haven't done for the last 2 years, but there you go.
That's why he hasn't got the last 2 years. That's why he never got the 10-year contract was kicked out after 8 years.
It all went to Apple. Major League Soccer fans will know, and Sky Sports got biffed off. It's as simple as that. Look, this is what we're going to do for this game. New York City FC are -113. Atlanta are +295. New York City FC drew away at Nashville last time out. Only 2 wins the last 7, both at home, but 6 wins from 9 home games. They play at Yankee Stadium. They are going to move to Willets Point in Queens for 2027. And I think, Nigel, that might be near Flushing Meadow. Is that right? You know that area fairly well.
I wouldn't know where the football stadium is.
No, but they are building a new one.
Me a few bars.
They're building a new one. They're building a new one. Anyway, they're still at Yankee Stadium, which is it's just wrong for soccer. But there you go. They're not the worst home team. Atlanta, who are coached by Ronnie Diallo, who was a former New York City FC coach and led New York City FC to MLS Cup glory a few years ago. But the key thing with this game is, if you look at any of the team news, Atlanta have got 10 players out, all on international duty. 109 appearances this season that those 10 players have made. They're going to be missing a whole squad, including Miguel Almiron, obviously came back from Premier League and Newcastle to play for the side that he led to MLS Cup glory a few years previous. And also Latilat, who cost about $22 million from Middlesbrough. One of the reasons Middlesbrough had a dip, they got Iheanacho back in and poor old Michael Carrick lost his job not so long ago. New York City have also got players out. 71 appearances the players that are out have made, so not quite as bad. But crucially, their first choice keeper is out, and also their top goal scorer is out as well. They're both in Gold Cup squads for the United States and Costa Rica that start this weekend. A lot of changes. New York City are a massive unders team. I think we've got to play under on the Asian line here. Under 3 is just minus money. Minus 120 last I look. So if you're playing unders for me, Effie, I know you're going to play overs, but I think there's an awful lot of changes in the squads. New York City are a massive unders team. Atlanta can't win away from home. If you play the under 3 line, Atlanta, you've only lost once in 7 away from home, and you've only lost once in 9 for New York City. You've won 7 of those 17 games with pushes for the rest because we're playing the Asian 3. So we're going to play Asian line threat. I thought about under 4.5 New York City shots on target, but Atlanta do concede an awful lot of shots, so I steered away from that one. Villavan says, what was the under 21 trends you advise? Under 3.5. You've got to play them all, though, Villa fan. What else have we got here on the comments? Gracie says, Nigel's face when that return at 30-40 was a classic.
She was
I was rattling my notes off. What happened?
Raducanu was love 40 on her serve, and she's just held serve from love 40. Now it's love. This is going to be 6 love this set. I know when you get things wrong, right, you have to go spectacular wrong. There's no point in getting something wrong. Like you've got to go absolutely spectacular wrong. I was all over this, and I'd be. It's going to be 6-love, Dan. It's going to be 6-love.
Listen, I've bet it, mate. I've bet it as well. You know, I've bet it. Don't worry. And we win together. We lose together.
Your money's on the line. My reputation's on the line here.
We win together. We lose together. We win till you know. This is the community. We can't win every single one, but we hopefully we put in the right direction.
Like Pete Venus Williams here.
In terms of where the money's going.
Turn this off. I'm going to watch the chase.
In terms of where the money's going for the game tonight in Major League Soccer, most of the cash has come from New York City. Most of the money has come from overs. Effie likes overs. 5 of the last 6 MLS night games between New York City and Atlanta have resulted in a draw. That's an interesting stat from Troy. Let's get back to the tennis, shall we? Not the action at Queen's. Not the action at Queen's down the road. We've got Hertogenbosch.
Yep.
We've got matches tomorrow, men's and women's. What do you want to tackle first, Nigel? Men's and women's?
To be fair, mate, after my Raducanu, I thought
it's not over yet. It ain't over till
she's going to lose 6 love. She's like Campbell. Honestly, it's awful. Hertogenbosch tomorrow. Well, we got.
What do you want? Men's.
You start with the men's. We've got Diallo against Khachanov. We've got a cheer here because we're on Diallo to win the tournament 50-1. So we've got a big cheer against Khachanov. And the way he's played this week, I think he's got a great chance. I like him. He's got a massive forehand, big server, in great form. I always like people who have big wins in tournaments they're not expected to win. He had a big win against Cerundolo in the French Open. The only problem he's got to overturn a 3-love deficit on the head-to-heads, which is a bit of a problem with him. So I think he's got a chance of overturning that. But I prefer the games. I think this one will be a long one as well. Hertogenbosch this week has been very, very high. A lot of overs cashing as well. So I quite like the total games here at over 23.5. Borges against Humbert. I wouldn't have a bet there. You know, Humbert is struggling with injury. Borges is more of a clay court player. The price there reflects that. So that is that's a no bet for me. But I do think Diallo has got a chance. We're on it at 50-1. So hopefully he can get the job done. Khachanov is a player that, again, get a good week at the French Open by his standards. Come here as well. It's a difficult ask for him.
Khachanov, incidentally, there's a big bet. $45,000 play. It was in play against Mackenzie McDonald, which won at minus 667. Yeah. And as Troy in the stats has suggested to us, Khachanov has lost each of his last 5 ATP quarterfinals on grass. Most of the money has come for Diallo on the money line and the spread. 77% of the money and the tickets on overs on that one. Anything in the women's Hertzen? I still can't say it.
Hertogenbosch. Kochereta against Lamens, 2 players that I wouldn't really trust on grass court, even though they've reached the quarterfinal here. I actually quite like Alexandrova and Kudermetova. I think whoever wins this tournament, whoever wins this match wins the tournament. So I would suggest betting both of them to win the tournament. And having a bet on the, I think the tournament is so weak. Whoever wins this match wins the tournament. Alexandrova is about plus 225 a bet. Rivers Kudermetova was Rory Giovanni's pick at 20-1, I believe, at the start of the tournament. She's now down to about 8-1. But I think the best way to play that match tomorrow is to bet both of them to win the tournament at plus 225 and plus $8 and have a cheer, because I think whoever wins that wins the tournament.
That is the tennis. The mysterious A says, I was also at Queen's yesterday, so both of you could have come down and had a cup of tea at my gaff, but A and Nigel both decided not to. A says, yep. I feel your pain. He's on over 21 games.
His reputation. I've gone really punchy on social media. I've given all the reasons why. The Raducanu, I've come on here.
I'm getting.
There is 6 love.
I'm getting hammocked by Man United.
This is actually worse. This is actually worse. I got a feeling this could be worse, because football, you get it. Tennis, you're supposed to be. You know, people think, oh, he's a tennis guy, he knows tennis. But the stats, I bet Raducanu, not Raducanu, and that's what I'm saying. But I mean, I don't mind losing 7-5, 6-3. It's no problem. But 6 love. I mean, it doesn't get much worse than that.
If you have played in the US Open, JJ Spawn is still leading. He's 4 under through 14. Producer John has backed him. He didn't tell us yesterday when we did our US Open special. But shout out to Simon, who said that Jordan Smith would go well first round. He's even. He was 150 to 1 to be first round leader. Myself and Neil were both on Ben Griffin, incidentally, who's top 10 at
He's
the
minus
moment.
one. He's
Daddy's
minus one.
ongoing.
He's minus one, Griffin, isn't he?
Which Griffin? There's a Lanto and there's
Ben
a
Griffin is minus one.
Oh,
He's
my
fifth.
internet's
He's
a bit
fifth.
slow. So we're hopeful for that. In terms of where the money's gone for the US Open first round, we had some stats from Troy and the gang. Scotty Scheffler, round one leader, was an 11 to 1 shot, 13% of the handle. Ludwig Aber, 4% pretty much at 33s. He's got a chance to be first round leader. DeChambeau was also popular. Likewise, Matt Fitzpatrick, who started well, but I'm not quite sure where he is now. He seems to have slipped down the leaderboard. And some notable wagers on the golf on that first round. Aber to get a better first round score than Matsuyama. Well, that's on course, isn't it, at the moment? Novak, better first round score than Ben Griffin. That one isn't. That was a $5,000 play. And also Minwoo Lee to outscore Brooks Koepka over the first round, a $2,500 play. I think that one is yet to get underway potentially. Minwoo Lee, who's probably not the best golfer in his house, his sister's a lot better, isn't she, Minji? So if you're playing the golf, that's where the money's been going. Very quickly, we've got some late three balls to have a look at here for you. Jordan Spieth, John Rahm and Dustin Johnson. Well, Dustin Johnson, I mean, you've got to knock him out. He's plus 375. I mean, you know, that's just over 20% of the book here. I mean, you could split your stakes and play Spieth and Rahm. You make about 10% of your money. DJ's more interested in his missus, who would blame him. He's had a shocking time on live. And I thought about trying to play Spieth here because he's played much better this season. But I think John Rahm, who was low amateur here in 2016, he's been much better with live. He's desperate to do well. Former US Open champ. I'd play John Rahm here. I know he's the favourite, but minus 120 I think's fair. And here's an interesting question, just from a betting point of view for you, Nigel. We've got Hatton, Im and Straka here. And I thought to myself, I want to get with Sepp Straka here. Twice a winner on the PGA Tour this season. And you think to yourself, well, Tyrrell Hatton, every time we see him on social media, you know, he's blowing up, he's swearing, he's throwing his clubs. He's still a very good player. I think he's overpriced here. I mean, he's got a really good first-round average when it comes to the major tournaments this season. Sepp Straka missed the cut of the Masters, missed the cut of the PGA Championship. Tyrrell Hatton, much, much better. Just because we see those clips doesn't mean that's the whole picture. Would you agree with that? You bumped into him not so long ago. He can be a bit wild.
Yeah, he's one of my buddies. You know, I called him Ricky, but that was it. I said, "Can I have a picture of you, Ricky Hatton?" But he said, "I'm Tyrrell." But
do you know what I mean? Though we can get the wrong impression from a betting point.
Yeah, I think
he won Dubai early this season. He's a top quality player.
I mean, and they're all going to have problems today, aren't they? They're all going to go in the rough. Yeah. They're all going to have problems. They're all going to have issues. But I mean, Sepp Straka seems to be a player that the public has sort of caught onto.
Yeah.
He's a player at 40 to 1, you know, really should he be that kind of price? Hatton is a player that's probably technically and his ability wise a lot better than Sepp Straka. But and you know, he'd be the first player that you want in the if you said to him which one's going to be in the Ryder Cup, you'd be over Hatton. And people would probably overlook the conditions. But I mean, you know, I'm not a golf guy.
I'm playing Hatton here. Do you want to should we have a little side bet here, little tenny? You can have Straka first round.
No.
He's a shorter price.
Go on in. I'll have Straka, you've had, just because we get the value.
Can I have the tie?
Now, last night, a DJ saved my life, and I need a DJ to save my life today after Americano, so I'm going in all on Dustin Johnson.
DJ's got no chance for this one. Last one to look at here, just on the golf before we wrap things up. We get Nigel's best bet. Leishman.
You've had it. It's love, first set.
Leishman, Dunlop, and Rye. And I've tipped up a couple of Live Tour players. I can't go with Mark Leishman here. It's his first US Open for a few years. And Nick Dunlop here, who's plus 400 to win this one. I mean, he's never made the weekend of US Open. He's missed 6 of his 9 cuts. He carded an opening day 80 at the Players and an opening round 90 at the Masters, which just gives me the impression that when he gets on the big stage, he's a bit of a bottler. I know that Aaron Rye's short here at minus 114, but he's played well at the Players, the Masters, the PGA, all the big events. I know he's missed the last couple, but the Englishman, who we tipped up on the newsletter, incidentally, to be top Englishman at 7s, I think he can go Rye, Hatton, and Rahm. Rahm's off at 114. Hatton's off at 125, and Rai is off at 158. If you want to follow those three balls, they would be my best bets for the late golf. Rory is now evens. As Ben Griffin has got to 1 under. Well, myself and Channers, we're giving it large about Ben. He's twice the winner on tour this season. So we're hopeful going into the second stages of the first round. Best bets before we wrap up, Nigel. What have you got for us tennis-wise for the games that haven't started? Forget about Raducanu.
Sramkova's got the best news of the last 45 minutes of this whole show. Is Sramkova's got on the board to make it. It's not that embarrassing. 6-1 is probably a little bit better than 6 love, and she's serving, so it could be 6-2, so it doesn't look so bad. But she's 15-30 on her serve. I do think that Kessler's got a chance against Zheng a bit later on the handicap.
Yep.
I think it's got a big chance. I'm not convinced by her on the clay court, and that would be my only bet really. I'm obviously very, very heavily on Raducanu, opposing Raducanu on the stats. I said Sramkova. If Sramkova can make it competitive in his second set and win this, 6-2. I might look at currently Bet Rivers are over 17.5 games at -122. I think as soon as I put down this call to you, I might have a little bit on the over 17.5 games in play at -122.
Gracie says the comeback is on. No bagel.
Let's hope so.
Has got to break back as A and Aditya Day says. Stephen Lynn says, I've got Siwoo to be ahead at the end of round 1, 50-1. Yeah, I think you got a bit of a squeak there. Where is it? Yeah, Siwoo's 2 under, 2 off the pace. Wish you well with that one. Obviously, we wish John well as well with his JJ Sport.
4-0 Poland tonight. That's the bet. 4-0 Poland on the darts.
Listen, we've got something a little bit special, haven't we? I know we've got basketball and MLB still to come on the schedule today on Betting Weekly Live. But tomorrow, we've got something a bit special. Nigel, we've got a new crew member coming online for the World Club Championship.
Yeah, we got the Club World Championship starting the weekend, and we have a fantastic panel tomorrow. Lewis Jones, who's exceptional. I love watching Lewis, and I know a lot of people like listening to his thoughts. He's on with Steve Wiss, and we also have a new handicapper, Nathan Joyce. Now, a lot of people might have followed him. If you go through social media, look at Twitter, he's the best South American handicapper, bar none. Absolutely brilliant. No, what he doesn't know about South American football isn't worth knowing. And he'll be on tomorrow's debut. So I'm really looking forward to this show. And we have got a brilliant Betting Weekly Insider, which is going out today. All the guys have got involved in. You'll be thankful to hear that I'm not involved. I haven't given a pick on this one. I've left it all up. No, I haven't got involved.
You put it in the WhatsApp where you said I need everyone to give a pick. Have you not put one in there?
If you fancy it. I'm on the beach in terms of I'm sort of Alan Kirbishley. I'm on the beach, Charlton Football Club. I've got my espadrilles. I'm not talking about football. I've got my tennis racket in hand, and that's not going too well. So we've got a brilliant insider coming out tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe to that on bettingweeklystudios.com. Get in there, put your email address in. It's going to be a great guide. I've seen it come through. It's going to look fantastic in email tomorrow. So it's all from tomorrow for the next month. It's all going to be about the World Club Championships, and it's going to be soccer all the way. We thought we might have a little bit of a rest, but not to be the case. Loads of stuff coming. I'm looking forward to see Nathan and Lewis tomorrow. 2 young handicappers with a real big, bright future in this game. After the Raducanu, I might hand my P45 in and say, I'm off. My P60 will be going in. But I'm looking forward to it this week.
Yeah, it should be good tomorrow. Make sure you tune in for that one. What's the score, Nigel?
5-2. The comeback is on. Hey, break career. We got a chance. Anyway, so over 17.5 games, over 18.5 games in running. I'm going to be getting involved in that now.
Great stuff. Nigel, thanks for your company. Obviously, the boys will be back with that World Cup Championship preview. Should be good. Don't miss that. We've still got basketball and baseball to come with his shows with Doug, who's crushing it recently on the schedule. For myself and Nigel for now, though, be lucky tonight with your bets.